What's up guys, this is Josh back with another video, and today I want to do a quick install and review of the latest version of Pop! OS. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and the last time I looked at Pop! OS was over a year ago. I believe that was version 20.04. Well, I want to do a updated video and just look at the latest version, which is 21.04. And I know I'm super late because this version of Pop! OS was released about 2 months ago. And I've already seen that other YouTubers have done a review on it, but I just wanted to go on and do my own review. I haven't watched anyone else's review. This will be my first time actually booting up Pop! OS 21.04. The last couple months for me have been super busy, so I'm finally getting back into the roll of things and showing you guys some great reviews. So sit back, relax, and let's walk through this install and review. Okay, cool. So I'm at Distro Watch's page for Pop! OS, and I always like to go to this page because it gives a little insight on distribution, but I'm also go to System76's page where you can get the distro from. I just wanted to give you the little base information that you get from Distro Watch because it's a great resource when you're searching for that perfect OS. Now, as you can see, this is Pop! OS. And it says the OS type is Linux, is based on Ubuntu and Debian. If you didn't know, the origin is USA, and like I was stating, it was created by a company called System76, which they provide laptops with the Linux operating system on it. It's super cool what they actually do over at System76, and I recommend all you guys to check out their laptops and the distribution as well. And also, I'm not getting paid. This is no sponsorship, or it's no sponsorship involved. I'm just mainly going to focus on the distribution itself, which is free and open source, and you can install it on whatever laptop you want to. Now, if we look right here, it says the architecture is x86_64. The desktop is GNOME, so it comes with GNOME by default. As you can see, the category states desktop live media, and the status is active, obviously. And if you look at the popularity, it's actually number 5 on the list of distributions. I believe it's been rising due to this latest release of Pop! OS. But it states right here, Pop! OS is a Ubuntu based Linux distribution featuring a custom GNOME desktop. Pop! OS is designed to have a minimal amount of clutter on the desktop without distractions in order to allow the user to focus on work. The distribution is developed by Linux computer retailer System76. As you can see, it's actually been number 5 for a while, and this is based on hits per day. So about 12 months, you know, it's number 5 on the list. But it says average visitor rating, so that's just some rating and reviews or whatever. But this is the link to Pop! OS right here. It's System76, like I stated. You can just click right here, but I already have the site open. Just wanted to show you guys that it's there. But let's go over to their main website. And as you can see on their main website, they do offer laptops, desktops, mini PCs, as well as servers. And then also Pop! OS, which is the distribution that we want to download. But it says, welcome to Pop! OS. Pop! OS is an operating system for STEM and creative professionals who use their computer as a tool to discover and create. Unleash your potential on secure, reliable, open source software based on an exceptional curiosity we sense you have a lot of. And this is basically how you download the distribution. You just hit the download button, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But you can support Pop! OS if you want to, because they put a lot of time and money into the development of Pop! OS. Of course, they use Ubuntu as the base, but they still had to put in the effort to come up with their own distribution and customize GNOME, so they have developers that actually works on this project. but it's open source. You can always support it that way as well if you want to. But let me just click the download button to show you guys what'll pop up. But it will pop up, basically you can get the 20.04, which is long-term support, or you can get the 21.04, which we want to play around with that today. And then they also have two options. The first one, I believe, says Intel, and then the second one is NVIDIA. So it comes with NVIDIA drivers, I'm assuming. Now it says the requirement, here are the requirements for the distribution, but it says 2 gigabits of memory, 16 gigabytes of storage, and 64-bit processor. And then the file size for the download is 2.37 gigabytes, and the NVIDIA version is 2.8. So it does come with a lot of extra drivers in the NVIDIA version. And then also you can check your images using the SHA-256 sum right there. So you have that right there as well. So let me go down and close that, being that I already have it downloaded, and just scroll down a little bit more. But I mean, it just has, you know, some basic information on how to use it as well as what it's all about. So I won't go through all this. It's super simple. We'll just go on and install it, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when we get there. But here is some information about what's actually there, or what you can actually install on it. So these are some of the tools that you could put on there if it's not on there already. And one thing I'm interested in is the media production. So Blender, DaVinci Resolve, OBS Studio, Inkscape. I'm not sure if this stuff comes on here by default. I haven't looked at PopOS in a long time, so I don't know what all software comes on it, but this is some of the software that's supported on here. And I'm pretty sure it's a whole lot more, because like I said, it's Ubuntu based. They also use Flatpaks, you know what I'm saying, as well as the app package manager. So you do have all that at your disposal. Now let's scroll down a little more. It says get every advantage out of your hardware. But yeah, I'm not gonna go through this. Let's go on and start this install process. Okay, in order to save time, I just went on and booted up the ISO, the live ISO, and the first thing that'll pop up is the installation of PopOS. So we can walk through this install real quick, right fast. But first thing you want to do is select your language. So you want to select English here, or whatever your preferred language is. And then United States for me, you can select wherever you want to, and then hit select, and we're good to go. Now the next thing is the keyboard layout, and you can always test your keyboard layout, and I always kind of skip this or whatever, but you select whatever keyboard that you want, but you could test your keyboard here, because you know, in different countries they have different keys in different areas. So you want to go down and select it and then test it out. So I could just, you know, type in my whatever on the keyboard, test it out, good to go. So let's hit select, and then also the default language, you know, English US, select that. And then what we want to do is do a clean install. Now this is where you can actually go to the try demo mode, and this will actually pull up a desktop environment for you. That way you can play around with it and make sure everything will work on your hardware before wiping the disk. But this is a virtual machine for me, so I'm gonna just go down and hit do a clean install. Nothing is on the hard drive. It will erase everything on the system and install a fresh copy of PopOS. So let's hit clean install, and then also you want to select the drive right here. That's basically all you're doing. Hit erase and install, and then just go down and put your name there, your username, and your home directory will be named whatever you put here under username. So just go down and do that, and then put in a password, and let's type it in twice. Boom, and they match, and let's hit next. And then also you have the option to encrypt your drive, which I recommend you do. That way when you shut down your system, everything is encrypted, and let's say if someone steals your hard drive, they can't get to your data on your computer unless they know what your password is. But let's hope you didn't write down a password and stick it to your laptop so you wouldn't forget. So let's go down and hit don't encrypt, because we're not going to encrypt it. And this is the portion where it'll go through and install Pop! OS. So I'll be back when this actually finishes. I believe the last step is just a reboot. So I'll do that when I get back. Okay, cool. So the installation is complete. We just have some basic setup once we bring up the system after reboot. So I'm just going to hit restore device, and I'll be back when it actually is up. Okay, cool. So we have the system up and running. I went on and logged in just to save time, but the first thing that pops up is a welcome screen. And so this is very simple to follow through. Let's just hit next. But if you look right here, it says typing, select your keyboard layout or input device. It's already set to English, which is what we select when we went through the install, but you can also change it up if you need to here. But let's hit next. This allows you to modify the dock. But if you look right here, you can extend it to the edges, but I'm gonna make it look kind of Mac OS like, and just don't extend it all the way. And then you can also turn off the dock if you want to here. Now you can obviously go in and make these changes within the settings. As you can see down below, it says dock appearance, its size and position can be changed at any time from the settings application. So let's hit next there. I'm gonna not fully extend it, but the next thing is configuring the top bar. So you can show workspace button, which is right here. You can show the applications button. You can turn that on and off. So we can turn it on and off right from here. And then also you can modify your date and time if you want it left, right, or centered. Let's hit next. And this is for the launcher. And it says right here, press super key or use an icon in a dock display to launch search fields. So you can, so this is basically just giving you information on how to use it. So let's hit next. And then right here, you can use gestures for easier navigation. And this is a super cool feature that they've added. And you can do that right on the touchpad. So let's hit next. Right there. And then here's the privacy. I always leave location services off, but you can obviously turn it on if you want to. It's all up to you. So let's hit next. And then here is where you want to set up the time zone. I'm gonna just select it, Los Angeles. There we go. So we're good to go. And then also you can connect to your online accounts, which I always skip. So start using Pop! OS. We are done configuring the system. So boom, there we go. And so the first thing that comes to mind when looking at this distribution for me is it looks like Mac OS. And that's one of the reasons I went on and set the dock at the bottom to not expand all the way across. So it'll kind of look like Mac OS. And that's one cool thing about this distribution. It's tailored to you can have it either look like Windows or Mac OS, or you can have it look totally different. You know what I'm saying? You have all those options with its distribution. And it's super simple to use for new users. That's why one of the reasons I have Pop! OS as one of my top user-friendly distros, especially for people that are just switching to Linux for the first time. So let's walk through a little bit of using the system. And what I normally do is just go through all the options and just kind of show you some basic navigation of the operating system. But if we look right here on the right hand side, there's a down arrow, and this will actually open up all of these options right there. So as you can see, the volume is there. The network connection is there, and if you have Wi-Fi, it'll show up there as well. And then also you can get to the settings from here as well. You can lock the system, and you can power off and log off. So let me click off of that. That covers pretty much everything in there. Okay, so the next thing is the tiling manager. So I just wanted to show you guys this right fast. This is super cool. This is one of the best features I think in Pop! OS. It's basically how you can tile windows. So you can have multiple windows open and you can tile them around and you can move it around. It's super cool. Now, the only way to explain it is to kind of show it to you. So let's go down and turn it on. It comes off by default, but let's say we open up the file explorer, and then let's tile it over here on the right. So, and then open up the terminal. It'll automatically tile them next to each other, and let's say we want to open up the browser, it'll try to tile it as well, and so it'll try to fit it in there so you can get a view of everything you have open. And it's super cool the way you can modify how you want it. Like, let's say you want the browser to have the same size, and then you can look at the titles, you know, of what actually you have open. So that's super cool right there. So I had a home directory or my file explorer open, and it automatically puts a title there. Now you can actually turn that off. There are some options in here to actually turn some of that off, but that's super cool. I haven't seen a distro with that come, you know, by default. But they also have shortcuts. This explains all the shortcuts for it. And then right here, like I said, you can turn off the titles. So I'm not sure why I didn't turn it off, but it shouldn't show the titles. Maybe I gotta bring it out or whatever and then put it back. And then if I kind of put it back or whatever, we'll see. Let's see. Boom. Okay, so I guess it does keep the titles there. I'm assuming, well, I thought that's what they were talking about, but maybe not. But this is super cool. That's all I got to say about it. It's super cool how you can actually do this. So let's turn the titles back on, and then I'm gonna go down and turn off the tile windows off, and it'll just bring everything back the way it was. But let's go down and exit out the terminal and close this right fast. But you could turn it on, test it out, just see if it actually helps you. If you have, it's great for people that have like dual monitors or a bunch of screens. You can have a whole bunch of stuff tiled throughout the window, throughout your screen. So it's super cool. Now let's go down and get out of that, and then right here, you know, obviously is the calendar, you know, as well as notifications, you know, date, time, all that information right there. And then applications, you can go in here. I kind of showed you that while I was testing out the tiling windows, but this will, you know, show you all the applications. And actually, let's go through and just look at a few of the applications that are in here right fast. It's not that many, but calculator, calendar, contacts, files, Firefox. So let's open up Firefox again and make it big, but I just want to see what version of Firefox actually comes on here. So we're going to help about Firefox. It comes with 91.0.2. all right, so we can close that. That's the version that actually comes on it. And I don't know if you guys seen, but it showed earlier that we did have some updates, so it may update that. I'm not 100% sure. But Geary, Office, so we do have some Office products. You'll see Libre installed by default. And one cool thing about it, you can actually change the titles of this stuff. So let's say you want this category to be something different, you can change the name of it if you want to, which we're not going to change, but Office is fine for me. But that just shows you how you can put files together, or applications together, I'm sorry, and modify it as you need it. Then the pop shop, that's basically where you go through and install all your applications. So we'll open that up in a second, but then you have your settings, and then system right here. So these are your system tools, language support, startup applications, so you can modify that. System monitoring, disk usage, disk, power statistics, password, and key manager most likely. Let's go down and close that. But then you got your terminal, text editor, and let's see what text editor is on here. And I'm sure it's known. I don't know, you know why. Oh, it's gedit. So by default you got gedit. And then let's go back to applications again. But you also have a weather app as well as utilities. So let's go into here right fast. So you got Eddy, USB flasher, character map, text info or tex info, image viewer. So it does come with an image viewer. As you can see, it's got another tab in here, but you got document viewer, archive manager, extensions, fonts. But let's go to the other tab right fast. But you have a screenshot tool, which is cool. I'm sure that's Gnome's screenshot tool. Videos, show application, not sure what that is. Oh, that's basically the application right here. So basically showing the application, so closing stuff out and opening back up, and I'll show you guys that, you know, in a second. But window or weather, we looked at that, but under here I think we was on the second one. But they do have a document scanner, workspace, yeah, we looked at that. And then help. So, and then you can modify, you know, the title there for that group of applications. Now let's go down and close the applications right there. Actually, well, yeah, we can go to the settings from here. So let's click here on the settings, and it's, if you've used GNOME, then you understand how to actually use this thing. It's very simple, but I'm glad it was already on the about section. But you could change your host name right here under about on the left hand side all the way at the bottom, pretty much almost all the way to the bottom. But you can change your host name, and this basically just gives you some information about your system, you know what I'm saying. But you got your network settings, Bluetooth, pretty much all the settings that you want to change is in here. You know, your display settings, keyboard, printers, add printers, removable devices, firmware, users if you want to, default applications, date, time, and all that stuff. And you can also do an OS upgrade, and I'll just click on it so you guys can see. It's basically going to say you're running the most current Pop! OS version. So super dope. Let's go down and close that out. But let's open up the Pop Shop next, and this is basically the interface you would use to install applications as well as update your system. As you can see right here, it's popping up. It has some updates, so 32 components with updates, and then also Firefox. And I don't know how I knew it, but I kind of figured Firefox had some updates. So, and I promise you I didn't look at this before recording it. So but let's just go down and hit update all, and I'll let it run through these updates for a second, and I'll come back when it actually finishes, and then we can go through the rest of the applications or the Pop Shop. All right, cool. So the updates are done. Let's go back to the home page right fast. But this is where you get all your applications. You can search for applications, you know, right here, or you can go through and look at the featured applications here at the top, and this basically says Pop Picks. So if you need some of this application, you know, it's there for you. Atom, Telegram, you know, Lutris, Spotify, you know, pretty much everything you would possibly want to add. So it's super cool. And then it's all categorized down here at the bottom, so you can go through and find whatever application you want for your system, and you're good to go. Now, just to show you the settings, but if you click the wheel gear up here, this is basically the mirrors. So if you want to add a mirror, if you know what you're doing, just make sure you know what you're doing. And then updates, you can have it check for updates and select what you want, like important security updates, recommended updates, and then unsupported updates. You can turn that off if you don't want it. Extra sources, so if you want to add some more sources, you can here. And then flat packs, so you can add another source for flat packs as well if you want to. But as it state right here, this may be or may cause a security risk if you add something like this. So just letting you know to be careful when adding stuff like that, or sources and different repositories that you're unsure who actually owns it. So let's go down and hit the X right there and close out the Pop Shop. Now, one thing I didn't look at was the kernel. So let's just open up the terminal and run uname right fast, and then let's put the -a on it. That way we can get the kernel, but it's using kernel 5.11 by default. So super cool. That's what it came with. As you can see, it still says, you know, Ubuntu on here, which is not surprising. So let's go down and exit that right fast. And that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. The dock is very easy to use. You can look right here. It has a show launcher if you want to, you know, launch certain applications from there. And then also show the workspace if you want to minimize all the different applications you have open. And then as well as show applications, I did that as well. I showed you guys that as well. But this is the default that'll come on here. And also, just to show you one other thing, let's say you want to add something to the dash down here, or the dock. Let's add the calculator. So if you right click on it, hit add to favorites, it'll pop up down here as one of your favorites. And then you can also move it around or put it wherever you want to within the dock. So super cool. And then we can close out that, and it'll stay there, you know what I'm saying, and it'll be highlighted right there as well. And then when you minimize applications, you know, they're basically here to reopen them. So just so you guys know, you know, that's simple settings for the dock. But overall, This is an excellent distribution for people that are new to Linux. I definitely recommend it for them, as well as Linux Mint. Pop! OS is a great contender, especially since you have that option for it to look kind of like Mac OS. And I know you can do this on other distributions, but this has everything in the box for you, so you can get in running using a Linux distribution. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I hope you have a great evening, and keep it techie.